Hello, everyone. Welcome to Talk Now Radio. This is your host, Royce the Redneck Radio Man. Joining me today is going to be Kathryn Ravenwood, and we're going to be talking about her new book, How to Create Sacred Water. And now, I got to be honest with you, folks, this is a little bit new to me. I've read about sacred water before. I know that even the Catholic Church has what they call holy water, and I've always under the impression that there's certain places in the world that they get it and they pray for it and they bless it. I've never heard about creating it. From the title of the book, I'm going to assume that there's a certain way you can take, say, for instance, tap water, and I'll ask her this in a minute, and, turn it into sacred water. And we're going to get into what the benefits are, et cetera, et cetera. So let's bring Kathryn in here, and let's get this show on the road. Kathryn, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Royce. Thanks for having me on your show.
Well, I want to thank you for coming. This is a new topic for me, so I got a chance to learn something here. And I got to ask you first off, was I right about the what I said so far about the book?
Well, it's not really about, not really the same as Catholic holy water. This is the process of making sacred water is keeping a water altar in your home and using crystals and your prayers and the memory of water to create what Spirit told me is a crystal homeopathic elixir to heal the waters of Gaia. So this water is actually created and then given back to the rivers, streams, the wells, anywhere water is running to help heal the waters of the planet.
Okay.
So it's not really used in the same sense as holy water, but of course all water is blessed and sacred. But as we create the water altar and focus on how our intention of how we're going to use this water, that's what changes this and makes it different. Okay.
Well, before I go any further on that, I didn't see a website for you, so I got you up for www.invokingthescribes.com. Is that the one that you're using, or do you have another one?
No, I don't. That's not my website. I have just started putting up my website, and it's www.KathrynRavenwood.com. And
okay.
That's Kathryn Ravenwood.com. And I just got it, so it's not built yet, but it's in the process.
I'm glad you told me that. Now, this here, Invoking the Scribe, I knew it wasn't yours. I believe it's Normandy's, who you and her are friends, but I thought y'all were like sharing it, for example, so I didn't know.
Oh, no, that's all right. I've been very remiss in getting a website together. In the Invoking the Scribes book, I am one of the featured writers in that book, but I'm not sharing their website.
Right, and I've read that their book. It was a very interesting read. But I did want to check that out, and I'm glad you let me know about the website, because when I move this to the archive tomorrow, I can change the link under your picture to the new site for you and have it ready.
Great. Thank you so much.
Also, folks, if y'all would like to ask questions, the call-in number is 832-632-7904. If y'all are listening and y'all are interested in the book, just scroll down below the chat room to the picture that says How to Create Sacred Water, and you'll see Kathryn Ravenwood's picture up there, the description of her and her book, and underneath that you'll see a link to the book at Amazon. Just take it right to the website. You can buy the book there, and I'll be moving that from the front page to the archives tomorrow or the next day after I turn this into a video. So now that we got that covered, so they'll know where to, pick up the book at and, how to find. Oh, and for those listening elsewhere other than here, if you want to come join us live, the address is www.talknowradio.com. That one I almost forgot. Getting back to the topic of the book, so I take it if this is different from, say, like holy water, then it's never used for anointing or for healing, is it?
Well, let me just give you a little background on this so you'll know where we're coming. In 1999, many people will probably remember that Hurricane Floyd ripped through North Carolina and went through factory farms, and millions of dead animals ended up floating through the rivers and just causing mass pollution of the waterways in North Carolina. I was in Seattle, Washington on a beautiful fall day, walking around one of the city lakes, just enjoying the beauty of where I was, thinking, how much pollution is too much before the waters can recover? And I heard a voice in my ear say, you know, you could make a crystal homeopathic elixir to heal the waters of Gaia. Now, I had no idea what that was. And so the book is my story of how I followed Spirit's gentle nudgings, and sometimes not quite so gentle nudgings, to get me to figure this out. So what it is a water altar, according to how Spirit directed me to do this, is done with amethyst and selenite crystals, and it's kept from full moon to full moon as a 30-day cycle. And during that time, you take the selenite and you stir the waters that the amethyst is sitting in and add your prayers for the healing of the waters for Gaia. And then at the end of the 30 days, you can put this water into smaller containers or whatever, however you're doing it, and get it out to the rivers, the streams, the wells, and give it to Gaia for the healing. Now, Spirit always told me that it was for the planet, and so I have never used it as an elixir for myself or to heal others, even though I do healing work. There was one exception, that I had a terrible sore in my ear that wouldn't heal. And after about 3 weeks, I asked Spirit if I could use the sacred water from my water altar to heal my ear, and I got a big yes. So I just dipped a Q-tip in the water, rubbed that on my ear, and in the morning it was gone. So I know this water is very powerful, but I have, since 1999, used it for the planet and not for myself. Because, you know, all water recirculates everywhere else. So as we heal one source of water, eventually all the water is healed.
Well, if that was the case and it did have any healing properties like it did with your ear, then wouldn't you think that eventually if everybody was doing this, that any water would be able to heal?
Oh, I absolutely think that. All the water is connected, and it's not like we're getting new water all the time on the planet. There's only so much water here, and it just continues to recirculate. So the glass of water you're drinking today, at one time, Cleopatra's barge could have floated on it as part of the Nile. You don't know. So it all gets moved around, and the important thing is, yes, to heal the waters. So I'm not so concerned about rules of, oh, you can't use this water for this or that. The important thing is to get people involved in actively paying attention to the water and doing their prayers for it and making an effort to make a relationship with the water that will indeed help it all to heal. And then, of course, that helps all of us to heal, since our bodies are about 80% water anyway.
So by heal, I take it, since there's, at least not to my knowledge, a lot of things that can be wrong with the water, you're probably referring mostly either to the pollution from trash or from oil rig digging?
There's a lot that's wrong with the water. It's been massively polluted, and there's all kinds of drugs, like all the drugs that people in the world take, flush down the toilet when they, urinate, or they throw their drugs in the toilet if they're not going to take them anymore. Prozac, caffeine, atrazine, all of these drugs end up in the water. And because you can't see them, doesn't mean they're not there. And so because the water does not have a chance to naturally purify itself anymore because of its massive overusing and reusing that we do, this water just keeps recirculating with the pollution, with the trash, with the oil dumping, with the fish farms and all of the feces from the fish that just get recycled back into the water. It is a constant dumping ground of pollution, and it is not getting clean. In the best of worlds, water has a chance to run and circulate in wild rivers. The water would circle around back on itself and make what's called an oxbow bend in the river, where it can kind of hang out for a while. The sun can be on it. Then it moves some more. It goes down waterfalls where the oxygen helps purify it. It goes underground through aquifers where the minerals in the earth can help heal the water and purify it further. But what's happening now is the water is just constantly being pumped out of aquifers. The rivers are dredged. They're straightened out. And the water is just reused. And in many parts of the world, there's nothing available to even process the water. All the sewage and chemicals get dumped directly into the river. People step into the river and drink that water directly like that. So there's a lot wrong with the water today.
Yeah, I can see that now that you mention it. You know, it's a funny thing how much you just mentioned that I never really stopped to think about. And I'm pretty well betting a lot of people on the planet, unless they're more water conscious than I was, probably just never stop and really think about it or realize.
I think that's true, Royce. You know, you turn on the faucet and the water comes out, and as long as it's not brown,
or don't taste nasty, or
yeah, or they say, oh well, there's a little chlorine in the water, that takes care of it. We'll just run it through our, Brita filter and take that taste out. But those are not filtering out a lot of the problems that are in the water. And I think that a big part of it is just an awareness that more people it would be very beneficial if more people would think about their water and what they dump in the water. I mean, geez, when I was a kid and something went bad, my mother would just say, oh, go dump it down the toilet. It was the garbage disposal.
Same here. I think that's like that in a lot of families.
Yeah.
Probably even to this day, because it's just convenient.
Exactly. And now almost everyone has garbage disposals. Well, where does all that go? People put all that food down a garbage disposal and think, well, that's that. Well, it just gets put into tiny particles, and that has to all go through the filtering systems of the plants that every city has to purify the water.
See, a lot of people don't realize everything that goes in their garbage disposal ends up going to the bio, to their gutter, or their drains of the gutter, out to the bio, out to the ocean. I mean, you only got two main lines, hot and cold, coming into your sink, and one going out. Therefore, anything goes in that other has to go out through the drain, because there ain't nowhere else. And if it goes out through the drain, it has to end up in the ocean.
That's right. And first it goes through the sewage plants, and, there's some filtering there, but it's, in some places it's very limited. And you think about all the gray water from your shower, the soap, the shampoos, the shaving cream, all
your
the
hair,
soap, your hair, the detergents, all of that goes right back into the water. Now, back in the 70s, a lot of people will remember that rivers actually caught on fire because of all the garbage in the rivers, and they would actually catch on fire. A lot has changed since then, and most of the detergents no longer use phosphates, which causes an overgrowth of plant life in rivers and chokes the oxygen right out of them. So in a lot of ways, that has changed, but in other ways, we still dump massive amounts of drugs and pollution into our rivers constantly. And I have a chapter in my book that discusses some scientific proof of how that is being tracked and noticed. One interesting thing was there was a report done in Seattle, which of course is a cloudy kind of cold city, and it's arguably the coffee capital of the world. People drink massive amounts of coffee there. And there was a measurement being done by the city of trying to make sure there weren't any cracks in their pipes. They had certain ways to measure this. And they found that the increased levels of caffeine were significantly higher between from like a 7:30 reading to an 8:30 reading after everybody had had a chance to have their morning latte chug it down, get to the office, and run to the bathroom. There was a huge input of caffeine in the water at that time.
Well, something I thought about while I was listening to you, because I've never really been very water conscious in the past, is not only is it a matter of whether or not you get to drink this and it don't get filtered out, for the city's purification system, but what about the air you breathe? What about the moisture in the air? Because, moisture's all around us and it comes up off the ocean. Not only that, when it rains in hurricanes, that comes in off of the ocean, so it's falling down on top of you, even if you're not drinking it.
Oh, absolutely. And, we started hearing about acid rain, back in the 80s, where this acid rain was actually killing entire forests. And it was exactly that. It was the lifting up of the chemicals with the evaporation of water, and then it would come back down through the polluted atmosphere with all of the chemicals being pumped up into the air. Then the rain would come back down, bring all of those chemicals from the atmosphere and put them directly on plants, animals, people, right back on the planet.
Which makes me wonder about skin cancer.
Yes, that's a very good thing to be wondering about.
I mean, they credit it to the sun, but they've been known to credit things to different things before and find out later it was something else.
Right. And, why suddenly is the sun our enemy? The sun is the life-giving source of this planet. It always makes me wonder about, now why is it that we have to be afraid of the sun? Well, it's because we don't have the protection that we used to have, the natural protection of our atmosphere to shield us from the more harmful rays of the sun, and that is strictly based on pollution.
Well, I got to tell you, usually one of the first things I do is I ask my guests to tell us a little something about themselves and what got them interested in the book that they're writing or the video they made or whatever they're doing, their research. And I kind of jumped the gun this time, but I think I would like to go back and give you a chance to tell the listeners a little something about yourself and what got you to writing the book.
Okay, well, thank you. I'm currently living in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I'm a tarot reader. I've been a tarot reader for a long, long time. I did 15 years of body work before I blew out my arms and my elbows and my neck and had to quit doing that. I've had a variety of different jobs. I currently have a day job. I actually work in a church office. I'm the administrator there, and I do my tarot readings on the side. I'm a member of the lineage of Thoth through Nikki Scully's Alchemical Healing. I've studied the Egyptian mysteries with Nikki Scully, Norman D. Ellis, Gloria Taylor Brown. And I have a rather wide interest going everywhere from the Tarot to Egyptian mysteries to the Kabbalah. And I'm trying to just expand myself. I like to study and learn things and follow those interests that get to me. But the Tarot is one of my big loves, next to, of course, the water. And the way that I wrote this book is, like I was telling you, in 1999, when Hurricane Floyd happened, and I was just wondering about it, and Spirit said to me that I could make this crystal homeopathic elixir. At that time, I was about 50. I was already in spiritual circles, and I thought that I was pretty involved in my spiritual life. But this book, this process of learning to do the water altars really raised the bar on me. And I had to learn to follow my own inspiration from Spirit and to really tune in and learn how to listen to that. So that was a huge learning experience for me. And for many years, I did this water altar really by myself, and my friends would say, you should write a book about it. And so I finally did write the book about it.
Well, was any of this book channeled information? Because I heard you mention that an angel, instructed you on this.
Well, Spirit did instruct me on this, and so the actual process of creating a water altar is probably channeled information, yes. There's part of the book that is my personal story, and then there are chapters in the book that are shamanic journeys out to bring us into a closer relationship with water, and all of those are channeled.
Okay. Now, does your front page say future home is something quite cool?
I'm sorry, what's that?
Your web page, does it say future home is something quite cool? With
it says future
a shirt
home
hanging on in a closet there?
Yes, because I just got the website name, and I haven't put it up yet.
I just wanted to make sure because I was pasting the link into the chat room. I didn't want to give them the link to somebody else's site, and I'm talking to you.
No, it's my website. It's just not. It's not active yet. I'm working on it.
Okay.
I'm not very good at these things, so I'm working on it, and I'm putting together the information. Hopefully, it'll be up in the next week or so.
Okay, that sounds fantastic. I've got the link to it, and I've got it. Actually, I'm bookmarking it right now, at least until I can link to it from my site. Once I linked everything from my site, I take it out of my bookmarks. Don't need it anymore.
There you go.
But, yeah. Getting back to the book, though, so some of this was channeled and some of it was not. I don't know how much of this book you can share without giving away the candy store, so you may have to kind of nudge me on that one if I, ask the wrong question. But can you tell us how you said, I think it was like an altar for making this water was built?
Yes. I'm a bit in a long time, I'm a person who has a whole room that's an altar room. And I learned, about in 1997, I first discovered altars. And I don't know how in the world I lived that long without finding out the power of having an altar in your home. But once I discovered the power of having altars, I became almost like an altar junkie. I love to do altars. I love to work the altars. And so when Spirit gave me this challenge to create this crystal homeopathic elixir to heal the waters of Gaia, it worked out to be what I call a sacred water altar. And what that is I have a glass punch bowl, the old cut glass kind of punch bowl, and this large amethyst crystal that Spirit led me to. And there's I think, a funny chapter in my book about how I found these crystals. The amethyst is on the bottom of the punch bowl. I fill it with water. I stir the water with a selenite wand, just like when you're making homeopaths. When homeopathic remedies are created, they're put into water, and an agent is put into water, and it's stirred and stirred and stirred and reduced until just the essence of that element is left in the water, and that's what a homeopathic remedy is, very basically. So what I do is I put my prayers and my intentions, I speak that right over the water and stir the water. And then the vibration of my voice goes into the water. The memory of the water holds that vibration along with the vibrations of the crystal, and then it sits there for a month from full moon to full moon, getting all charged up with that moon energy, and becomes the elixir for the water. And so that is what I call my sacred water altar. And the working title of this book was Sacred Water Altars, and the publisher chose to rename it as How to Create Sacred Water, which is a lovely title. But that's how this happened, so that in the middle of the book, I give very detailed instructions on how to make an altar. So if no one's ever made an altar in their life, they can know how to do it from step one. If someone already knows how to make altars, they can go right into the water altar work. So that's a very instructional, hands-on part of the book.
That sounds like a very useful part, too.
Well, Royce, it is useful, and it's very simple, and it really is just step by step. And it's simple. Creating altars having an altar for a purpose in your life is very powerful, because altars become portals, and they hold that energy that you're asking to come in, and it anchors it in. And so it's like a doorway you open up for Spirit to come and help you with whatever it is you want the altar to be for. And also it gives you a chance to focus your attention on things. If you go into your altar room or your altar and you have on it a picture of Buddha or Jesus or Isis, whoever, whatever being is there on your altar to help you, every time you see that picture, you think of the energy of that being, and it helps you to think about it, use it during the day, and to be a vessel for that energy. So whenever you see the water altar, turn your attention back onto prayers for the water, attention for the water.
Okay. So it is important, though, that you use the right materials, like the amethyst. I'm having a little trouble with that word, but I'm sure you know the word I mean.
Amethyst, yes.
Amethyst. It's important to use this when you're building this altar, or will any material do?
I don't think it's absolutely critical. I bring it up in the book because that's what Spirit showed me to do. Amethyst is a very powerful crystal that has very high energetic frequencies that help to heal and transform things, as does selenite. But the important thing is the prayers and the intention, and having a place to work your prayers as intention. Now, it just turns out that amethyst and selenite are both very easily obtained crystals, and they're not very expensive.
Okay.
But other things could be used, and one of the things that I suggest in the book is if someone is serious about doing this, and they feel like Spirit is calling them to do it in another way, then do it that way. Because, there's 6 billion and 7 billion of us on the planet, so we're all different. But this way I know works. And it's like I say, it's simple, it's not expensive, you can get those crystals anywhere that crystals are sold, and it's a good way to start. And people might be drawn to do it in a different way, and that's fine. That's not the most important thing. The most important thing is our intentions, our prayers, and understanding the relationship of ourselves with the water.
Now, I understand what you're saying about your intents and prayers being the most important thing, but I wouldn't discount the importance of crystals because I know quartz crystals have healing properties. They can be used for communication, for information storage, for a lot of things. So I'm pretty sure that other crystals have other properties as well. So I'm pretty sure that if you don't use an amethyst crystal, it's probably important that you use some kind of crystal, wouldn't it be?
I think that the crystals are part of it, and of course remember that Spirit said to make a crystal homeopathic elixir. So the crystals hold that energy and put their vibration into it. Quartz is a very powerful crystal indeed, and there are whole library shelves out there of about crystals, so that anybody could look up a crystal expert and find out what the properties are of different crystals if they wanted to experiment or they wanted to work with something very specific. So yes, I think the crystals are an important part of it, but I would want people to make some effort to heal the water, even if they don't have crystals available to them.
Right.
But most people are able to. So in an ideal world, Spirit told me to do it this way, and so that's how I wrote the book and encouraged people to try that.
Okay, so Spirit did specify the type of crystal then.
They did.
Okay.
Spirit did. What happened was I said, okay, Spirit, I don't know what this is, but if you want me to do it, you show me what to do. And one day I was taking a little break. I was in Seattle. I was taking a break from my massage work, just walking around. I went by an antique store, and I heard Spirit very clearly again speak to me and say, go in there and look at the crystals. And with my logical mind just rearing its ugly head, I actually stood out on the sidewalk and argued with Spirit, saying, I've been in that antique store a million times. There's no crystals in there. And Spirit said, well, just go look. And I'm like, but they don't sell crystals in there. Just get inside. And I went inside, and there, never seen crystals in there before or since. There was the amethyst, and there was the selenite, just waiting for me. And so then I knew that those were the crystals that Spirit wanted me to use.
Okay. It could also be that and you'd probably know this before I would. I'm just taking a wild guess here, that the spirit might have known that these... Hello, everyone. Welcome to Talk Now Radio. This is your host, Royce the Redneck Radio Man. Joining me today is going to be Kathryn Ravenwood, and we're going to be talking about her new book, How to Create Sacred Water. And now, I got to be honest with you, folks, this is a little bit new to me. I've read about sacred water before. I know that even the Catholic Church has what they call holy water, and I've always under the impression that there's certain places in the world that they get it and they pray for it and they, bless it. I've never heard about creating it. From the title of the book, I'm going to assume that there's a certain way you can take, say, for instance, tap water, and I'll ask her this in a minute, and, turn it into sacred water. And we're going to get into what the benefits are, et cetera, So let's bring Kathryn in here.
Ravenwood.com. And
okay.
That's Kathryn, Ravenwood.com. And I just got it, so it's not built yet, but it's in the process.
I'm glad you told me that. Now, this here, Invoking the Scribe, I knew it wasn't yours. I believe it's Normandy's, who you and her are friends, but I thought y'all were like sharing it, for example, so I didn't know.
Oh, no, that's all right. I've been very remiss in getting a website together. In the Invoking the Scribes book, I am one of the featured writers in that book, but I'm not sharing their website. Right,
and I've read that their book. It was a very interesting read. But I did want to check that out, and I'm glad you let me know about the website, because when I move this to the archive tomorrow, I can change the link under your picture to the new site for you and have it ready.
Great, thank you so much.
Also, folks, if y'all would like to ask questions, the call-in number is 832-632-7904. If y'all are listening and y'all interested in the book, just scroll down below the chat room to the picture that says How to Create Sacred Water, and you'll see Kathryn Ravenwood's picture up there, the description of her and her book, and underneath that you'll see a link to the book at Amazon. Just take it right to the website. You can buy the book there, and I'll be moving that from the front page to the archives tomorrow or the next day after I turn this into a video. So now that we got that covered, so they'll know where to, pick up the book at and, how to find. Oh, and for those listening elsewhere other than here, if you want to, let's get this show on the road. Kathryn, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Royce. Thanks for having me on your show.
Well, I want to thank you for coming. This is a new topic for me, so I got a chance to learn something here. And I got to ask you first off, was I right about what I said so far about the book?
Well, it's not really about, not really the same as Catholic holy water. This is the process of making sacred water is keeping a water altar in your home and using crystals and your prayers and the memory of water to create what Spirit told me is a crystal homeopathic elixir to heal the waters of Gaia. So this water is actually created and then given back to the rivers, streams, the wells, anywhere water is running to help heal the waters of the planet.
Okay.
So it's not really used in the same sense as holy water, but of course all water is blessed and sacred. But as we create the water altar and focus on how our intention of how we're going to use this water, that's what changes this and makes it different.
Okay. Well, before I go any further on that, I didn't see a website for you, so I got you up for www.invokingthescribes.com. Is that the one that you're using, or do you have another one?
No, I don't. That's not my website. I have just started putting up my website, and it's www.Kathryn